Can't see how they haven't come up with some kind of way to combat these storms yet. They keep saying, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, oh, it said this, but it's going to hit all this warm weather and warm water. We have a Navy. Why don't the Navy come and drop ice in the warm water so it can't get going as fast as it's going? There's got to be ways to combat this instead of just pointing at the thing and saying, well, it's now it's getting worse. Yeah, we know it's getting worse, but you tell us, oh, it's the warm weather. Oh, it's the wind. Well, we have an Air Force. Drive some Air Force planes around to get the winds going the opposite way. Get the Navy to go in circles to fight it the other way.
Okay, that previous clip of that guy, we call him the guy from Florida, and actually he's got an accent. It sounds to me like he's got a Boston accent or New York accent. So he's a snowbird kind of guy, and he's explaining all his brilliant ideas about stopping hurricanes. Actually sounds a little like Trump, doesn't he? Why don't they just drop a bunch of ice? Like, how many tons of ice will we need? How many boats will we need? How many soldiers and sailors will we need to load the ice up into ships and then send it out into the hurricane? Wait, yeah, we'd have to send the boats out into the hurricane force winds. Oh, you know what? We might lose a ship or two, wouldn't we? I didn't think about that. Oh, well, at any rate, it would take a lot of ice cubes and a lot of ice, and then we would dump it, throw it overside. I don't know where we'd get the ice from. Oh, we could get the ice from Greenland. We'd ship it down from Greenland, and then we would stop the hurricane. Those ideas are a subliminal. This is a subliminal ad. Yeah, well, you can figure out who that guy is on the left. So, and then Trump came up with an equally ludicrous idea. And this equally ludicrous idea had been floating around since the Eisenhower years when we had nuclear bomb. We'd first had nuclear bombs, and somebody proposed, he said, why don't we drop a bomb into the middle of the hurricane, a nuclear bomb into the middle of a hurricane, and we'd stop it. Well, a nuclear bomb, as strong as it is, does not have the, it doesn't have the energy force to stop the rotation of the winds and the heat, and the ocean heat covers hundreds and hundreds of miles. And then you have the wind forces, which are global. So, and then you've got the fallout problem. You'd have nuclear radiation everywhere or in a large area. So that idea was rejected in the 1950s. So sorry, Don, your idea of dropping a bomb into the hurricane is old and it's been discarded. But let's get back. Let's get back to this guy. We don't have the Air Force going around. You know what? If all of the people in Florida got along, lined up along the coast and blew real hard, maybe it would blow the hurricane in the other direction. Why didn't somebody think about that? Yeah, just have everyone blow real hard. And then they could throw in the ice cubes from their ice refrigerator into the, on the beach. Oh, I'm coming up with all kinds of good ideas. So, okay, I had some photographs here passed by. This is the Eye of Dorian. I thought that was really cool. I don't know what the coloring is, but look at how well defined the eye is. And the maximum winds were huge, or very high, 180 miles an hour, I think it was. Okay, so let me go back into the controversy, and I'll be right back after I take this short pause. Okay, this video is going to be on the Hurricane Dorian. Controversy slash what's controversy? Snafu, blunder, cover up. Well, whatever. it was it was a small controversy. Actually, we got lucky so far in the sense that it was a huge hurricane. It was Category 5, and originally had been projected to hit much of Florida, and it didn't. It went north, directly north instead of keep going east. Oh wait. So the controversy comes about because Trump, when he gave a press conference, he named the states that were going to be affected by the Hurricane Dorian, and he threw in Alabama. And at that point, and I'm trying to think, when was this press conference? I think it was Monday or Sunday. Alabama had never been in the, I don't know, in any of the models, even the early models, even the very inaccurate early models, it hadn't been considered to be in any danger of hurricane winds or even rainfall, I don't think. So here certainly not winds. And so here's an early projection. The hurricane force wind speed probabilities. Green is 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. Okay, so you don't get hurricane force winds until like yellow and brown. And let's see. And this projection was Saturday. So by Saturday, there was no prediction that the hurricane would come anywhere. It would graze a little bit of Georgia. That was about as far inland as, and the panhandle, a little bit in the panhandle of Florida. Okay, that was Saturday. Let me get to another. Okay, now here is the very deceptive and what I would call it dishonest, cover your butt map that Trump used in a second press conference about Dorian and quote unquote whether it was going to hit Alabama or not. And this, he uses a very early forecast. So you see in the very right corner of the projections there, the very right corner is the very beginning, it says 11 a.m. Thursday. So that's a Thursday forecast from the previous week. So that would have been the most long range, probably most uncertain, inaccurate, long-term projections. Projection of the path of the hurricane. So it was almost a week old. And then, okay, so you see in this very early projection of where the hurricane was going, it goes a little bit into Georgia, very southern part of Georgia, and a little bit into the panhandle of Florida, and then it doesn't go into Alabama. Now, Trump made a mistake. He said Alabama, and of course, when Trump makes a mistake, he never admits it. So he has to come out, give a big hoop-de-doo production about how much he knows, and in this case, what they do is, you can see, this is called the Sharpie incident. In other words, you can see in the left part, someone has put on a black line, a Sharpie line, which is not in the original projection. That's what I like about Donald Trump. He's so good at lying. He just makes stuff up. So they had a person with a Sharpie kind of put a little bulb on there. We'll call it the Alabama bulb. And look at, Donald was right. It is southern Alabama. You know, it's amazing to me. I've never encountered anyone who lies with such smoothness and shamelessness. But can I say once again, thank you, Calhoun County. Thank you, Michigan. Thank you for voting for a man who cannot tell the truth and cannot admit that he's made a mistake. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And he's a racist and a failed businessman, and in debt. I don't know to who, Deutsche Bank, and maybe he's in debt to the Russian. I don't know what. He hasn't paid his taxes. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that are wrong with him, but you voted for him. Thank you. So, and you get this, you little Sharpie. This you're going to be the Trump Sharpie that you voted for. Fortunately, this was. By the way, you cannot alter. I guess you're against the law to alter government documents, and it's against the law. So those projections were projections from the National Weather Service, I believe, and so if you alter or misrepresent them, that's a violation of the law. So hold on. Let me take another break because I've got to line up my slides. Okay, this is a later projection. And okay, you can see it's Sunday, 4 a.m. or 8 a.m. Sunday. And you can see it's been now being projected to go northward along the coast, the East Coast. And still, it doesn't get anywhere near President Donald, doesn't get anywhere near Alabama. This is a Sunday projection, okay? And then here's another projection. Let's see, when was this? Oh, this is okay, 11. Yeah, this projection is from Saturday, okay, and still, yeah, the Saturday projection doesn't have it coming anywhere near Alabama either. And at this, let's see, at this rate, it was classified as a Category 4 hurricane. So why? So Trump makes the mistake of throwing in Alabama, then he's corrected by the National Weather Service, or one of the National Weather Service organizations, saying no, Alabama is not affected by the hurricane. And then Trump repeats the Alabama mistake or whatever, and then he realizes that he's made a mistake and that the hurricane people are correcting him and telling him now Alabama is not in there. So what does he have to do instead of making a mistake or just saying, oh, I misspoke, I didn't really mean to include Alabama in that group? He goes on and he lies. So that was the previous map with the Sharpie. And then what we're going to do at the end of the video is have a Sharpie extravaganza. A Sharpie extravaganza of potential Trump Sharpie recreations or Sharpie version, Trump Sharpie versions of reality. Yeah. So, okay. Let me take a break here. That's the eye of the storm. Okay.
We thought we'd give you a update on the hurricane. We got lucky in Florida, very, very lucky indeed. We had actually, our original chart was that it was going to be hitting Florida directly. Maybe I could just see that, Kevin. It was going to be hitting directly, and that would have affected a lot of other states. But that was the original chart, and you see it was going to hit not only Florida but Georgia. It could have was going toward the Gulf. That was what was originally projected, and it took a right turn. And ultimately, hopefully, we're going to be lucky. It depends on what happens with South Carolina and North Carolina. But it's heading up the coast, and Florida was grazed, mostly wind, and we're going to have a report on that.
President, you showed us the map earlier, the initial forecast of it. It appeared to have been, I guess, edited or something to include Alabama. Can you explain how that change was made?
No, I just know, I know that Alabama was in the original forecast. They thought it would get it as a piece of it. It was supposed to go, actually we have a better map than that, which is going to be presented, where we had many lines going directly, many models, each line being a model and they were going directly through. And in all cases, Alabama was hit, if not lightly, in some
No.
cases pretty hard. Georgia,
No.
Alabama was a different route. They actually gave that a
No.
95% chance
No, Don.
probability. It turned out that was not what happened. It made the right turn
No.
up the coast. But Alabama was hit very hard and was going to be
No.
hit very hard along with Georgia. But under the current, they won't be. Georgia will be possibly. We're going to see. We're right at that
Georgia
point right
possibly.
now. But I think Georgia's going to be in great
Mississippi
shape.
possibly.
Everyone's going to be in great shape because we're going to take care of it regardless.
Sure.
Regardless. But the original path was through Florida. That was probably 3 days. I think that's probably 3-4 days old. The original path
that
that
was
most people
way
thought it
old.
was going to
It
be
was
taken,
way
as you know,
old.
was right through Florida, where on the right would have been Georgia, Alabama, etc.
And that map that you showed us today looked like it almost had like a Sharpie.
I don't know.
A
I don't
Sharpie.
know. I don't
You
know.
don't know? You don't know? You don't know. Okay, I'm going to go over this. Yeah, that was the second. No, that was the third press conference on the hurricane, and Trump is asked directly about what was that black line that was not in the original projection, and you notice how easily and smoothly and quickly Trump begins to lie. He doesn't miss a beat. He says, I don't know. I don't know. And then he goes on to something else. But there's no pause. There's no he's not going to try to explain it. He's not going to get into the weeds trying to explain who prepared the chart, who put the line in, whether he was briefed on the line. No, he's just going to, I don't know. And he'll say it 3 times to emphasize it. And then people forget, oh, yeah, it was a pretty important question. So that was the third press conference on the Alabama thing. So instead of saying, I made a mistake, Alabama should not have been included in the states. I apologize to the people in Alabama for that or whatever. The guy just he lies about everything. And my slogan is that he's got all types of lies. He's got small lies, medium-sized lies, large lies, extra large lies, extra large lies, and then triple extra large lie. Yeah, there's a whole range of deception and lies, and he does it. It does it without missing a beat, without even batting an eye. Usually, I think sometimes he'll get caught off guard. I think he knew that question was coming. Yeah, he knew that question was going to come because it was all over the internet. And by the way, now it's Sharpie president, or what's trending now on Twitter? Sharpie president, I think it is, because everyone's saying somebody took a Sharpie on that chart. So, and then I just looked today, the hurricane is pounding, or it looks like there's a lot of rains in North Carolina and South Carolina. I don't know how bad it is. By the way, this is the effect of that hoax, big, huge hoax called global warming. In other words, we're going to get these hurricanes, extremely large, extremely powerful hurricanes, more because the oceans are warmer, the air is warmer, and there's more humidity. There's going to be more rainfall, more flooding, higher tides, and by the way, sea level rise is going to continue because the more ice and snow that melts in the land, it ends up in the ocean, and then the ocean, and so Greenland is melting now. Greenland ice sheets are melting. Antarctica, the parts of Antarctica that are closer to the equator, they're melting too, and so the sea level will continue to rise. And Trump doesn't know that, or he ignores it. I'm not sure if he doesn't know it, or he knows it and just chooses to ignore it. And let's take a break here and remind people that Donald doesn't use a computer. He doesn't know how to use a computer, and he doesn't read, and he doesn't Google information, and so he's very much in the dark. He doesn't. Well. Oh, okay. I threw in this slide here just a little bit of a reminder of where the increased heat from the global warming is being affected or being captured. And because it's in the oceans, and it says, where is the global warming going? It says in the ocean, 93%. Okay, in the atmosphere, it's only 2%. So what's happening is the oceans are like this heat storage device, and that's not only because the solar radiation is being captured by the oceans, and then the heat is, the heat from the light is being captured up and down the water column, the upper water column. Now, the atmosphere is few molecules and few mass, so it doesn't capture as much heat. But ocean water is dense and heavy and captures a lot of the sunlight. Most of the sunlight is captured in the water, not reflected. So that chart shows where the heat is going.
Can't see how they haven't come up with some kind of way to combat these storms yet. They keep saying, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, oh, it said this, but it's going to hit all this warm weather and warm water. We have a Navy. Why don't the Navy come and drop ice in the warm water so it can't get going as fast as it's going? there's got to be ways to combat this instead of just pointing at the thing and saying, well, it's now it's getting worse. Yeah, we know it's getting worse, but you tell us, oh, it's the warm weather. Oh, it's the wind. Well, we have an Air Force. Drive some Air Force planes around to get the winds going the opposite way. Get the Navy to go in circles to fight it the other way.
Access Vision. Your voice, your community.